Welcome to Reno, Nevada, home of the Nevada Wolfpack, where we begin our rebuild here on College Football 26. This roster is very, very depleted. A lot of older veterans, seniors and juniors that are not very talented. In order to really rebuild this school, we're going to have to create a new identity for this program. Historically, the western part of the United States has produced a few powerhouses. USC comes to mind, Oregon comes to mind. Nevada has never entered that conversation. And in this story, we will look to create the new powerhouse in the West and make Nevada a household name. So welcome to the channel and the series where we begin our journey taking over a team that went 2-10 in 2022, 2-10 the following year, and then last season 3-10. And our expectations are only to win 4 games in 2025. You want to talk about setting the bar super low? That's as low as you can get. Nevada is a 1.5-star program in this game. I actually disagree with that prestige. They should probably be either a full 1-star or a half-star. So let's just talk about the settings going into this series, and then we will get into the roster, recruiting, the schedule, and then we will open the season with a tough road game at Penn State. We'll be playing on Heisman with all of the default settings here for progression. We'll have the manual progression XP slider at 25%. We will turn off the pre-order bonus and we will have the coach progression at the slowest. I really want this to be as realistic as possible. Quarter lengths will be at 10 and the wear and tear will be default right now until we figure out more information as this game does go on in time. We will set the default transfer at 20 here for the max transfers per team, and we will keep everything how it is. We will definitely turn that auto progress players off so that we can build players the way we want to. Now we will be starting out with the motivator tree. So Coach Marlon Yarbrough will take over Nevada. And if you don't know who Marlon Yarbrough is, he is a channel legend back from NCAA 14. And we will not upgrade anything yet until we figure out where we want to go in recruiting and player development. But let's just get into the roster. The main thing I want to highlight is that we only have 180 overall player on this entire roster. And that's kind of what we have to start with. We do have some interesting pieces, but a lot of players have deal breakers which are going to speak loudly come the off season because a lot of them have to do with program, prestige, championship contender, brand exposure, things like that. But let's just start out with the quarterback. And if you know, you know. The younger brother of Brock Purdy, Chuba Purdy, will be our starting quarterback. But the only thing is, he is a senior. We will only have him for 1 season. His calling card is really his legs, a little different than his older brother Brock. Now, if you look at his speed, 85 speed, 87 acceleration, we're going to have to use him and his mobility to the best of our ability. But he does have some physical abilities, downhill, extender, option king, mobile resistance, so a lot of mobile physical abilities along with dots, which is increased accuracy to open receivers. Our backup quarterback is actually a junior in real life. In this game, he's listed as a sophomore, AJ Bianco. He's interesting, like he is also mobile and he can also throw the ball. His skill caps are actually pretty good. His playing style right now is at a D for his deal breaker. So we'll see if we can retain him on the roster for the future. He could have a chance to be our future at quarterback. Now you'll see a few players on this roster that have a walk-on as their name. Yes, that's right. We will be adding players into this roster. If you look at my community tab, you can check that out and get a player submission in. You have a chance to be on the roster. The base initial rosters had a lot of walk-on players, so I just renamed them to a walk-on and then I will rename them manually. Let's talk about the star of this offense. It is going to be Herschell Turner, the transfer from Utah State. He has actually 4 years of eligibility. He is technically a redshirt freshman. He's going to be special in this offense. Now, he has 89 speed. He has shifty as a physical ability. I think he's going to be a very well-rounded player for us. Now, we're going to have to manage his health because he is going to be on the field probably more than any other offensive weapon besides the quarterback. But we will have to, develop him, and we will have that length to really develop him in this series as he is a freshman. So we got to make him happy. The backup is a sophomore in Kai Woods. Now, he does have a championship contender deal breaker, and he is actually really good. 90 speed, one of the fastest guys on the team. He does have normal development traits, and behind them we have a couple of guys that have more power than anything. But if you look at the deal breakers, we really do have to contend here in order to retain a lot of these guys. Let's look at our receiving core. And one thing that you will notice is that there are a lot of similar players in this core. A lot of seniors, a lot of juniors at the top, with one sophomore sprinkled in. Now, one player that does stick out to me is Marcus Bellin. He is a senior. He is the really lone starter here in this receiving core, returning to this Nevada team. This is a team that graduated or had a lot of transfers coming into 2025. So we are definitely going to have to lean on these leaders, the guys that can really get the job done. Marcus Bellin is definitely one of them. I don't know who's going to step up at the number 2 spot in this receiving core. I do like Marshawn Brown. He is a taller receiver, but only 82 speed as a sophomore. But one guy I do really like here is Nate Burleson II. He is the son of Nate Burleson, former Nevada receiver and NFL veteran. Now, one thing that Burleson has that other players do not have is, one, the youth in this receiving core. He is a sophomore, but he also has really good skill caps with his route running. He can turn into a route running technician. I'm not sure he'll get much faster as he only has one more bar available for quickness and speed, but he could be a guy that could be a good slot receiver. Our tight end group is not very impressive. We have a couple of walk-ons to rename. Our starting tight end is Jace Henry. He is a senior, but there's nothing really too special about him, and he's actually very slow with 72 speed. Now, is he going to create that separation? Probably not. So in recruiting, we're definitely going to have to look at some tight ends and really develop at that position, especially if we want to run kind of a spread offense. Our offensive line has its, spots where we are pretty good, like at center. We have an 80 overall center. But then at tackles, it's not very pretty. So we will have to develop our offensive line. Nobody to really note there on the offensive line. But let's talk about pass rush, because this was a bottom 10 team in the country in sacks a year ago in 2024. So really getting after the quarterback, designing some blitzes is going to be important in order for us to have any type of success. Jonathan Maldonado is our best left edge. And then looking at our right edge, we have Labar Burra, who is a decent edge rusher. He is a junior, so he will try to be here for 2 seasons if we can retain these guys. But then there are some other players that are kind of, like I said, just like the receiving core, very, very similar. So we'll have to see who does separate themselves from the pack. Only one returning starter on this defensive unit, and it's big senior Thomas Witt, number 99. He's going to set the tone, really be a guy that's going to plug the middle, take on double teams, and hopefully, come up with some sacks, as he does have takedown as an ability for improved sack attempts. But behind him, not too much depth. So we're definitely going to have to hit recruiting pretty hard. A late transfer portal ad for this Nevada team was Miles Williams. His pro potential is at a D for his deal breaker. So I'm not sure if he will be a long-term player for us. When I say long-term, I mean, will he come back next season, because he is a junior? But I'm going to use him in pass rush situations. He does have some good pass rushing skills. Now at the Mike linebacker, we have Stone Combs, who also has a pro potential deal breaker. And that is kind of the trend with this roster. A lot of players with the deal breakers that we probably won't be able to meet, like pro potential, like brand exposure. If we're not on televised games, we're going to lose a lot of those games. And we're not going to produce any guys that are going to go to the league unless they are high in overall. So if you look at these deal breakers, it's all like this. Conference prestige is maybe, close on the border there. We do have some playing time deal breakers as well, but those guys that have the playing time deal breaker are usually the backups. And as you can see, we have a couple of redshirt freshmen at the will linebacker who do have that A+ and A playing time that we have right now and require a C+. But as they do progress in their careers, become juniors and seniors, they will actually demand a lot more playing time. That need will definitely be like a B or an A or something like that. In the cornerback room, there isn't too much to really write home about. Xavier Abercrombie was a transfer portal get. He has 4 years of eligibility. His skill caps are not great, and this is kind of the trend we see with a lot of our defensive backs. And I think that we're just going to have to find a player that's really going to stick out and then give that player playing time. With a lot of their overalls being very, very similar at a lot of positions, I am going to lean towards playing the younger players more. Kind of like Justin Wyatt, who is just a 62 overall, but he was one of the top recruits coming out of high school for this Nevada team. Now, he does have pretty good skill caps, so I think he does have a lot of development left in him. And his deal breaker right now is playing time, so I do want to get him on the field. And our kicker, Garrison, is graduating this coming season. And then we have a junior punter as well. So let's get into our schedule. We will follow the real life schedule for the most part, except for our second game of the year. We have scheduled and swapped out FCS for Memphis for one big reason. Last year's quarterback for Nevada was Brendan Lewis. He ended up graduating and transferring over to Memphis as a graduate transfer quarterback. I thought that would be an awesome storyline to have as our first home game of this series. Middle Tennessee State and Western Kentucky will round out our non-conference games, and then we play our last looking Mountain West schedule that will look like this, because there are a lot of teams moving over to the Pac-12, like Boise State, like Wyoming, like Utah State. This conference is going to look a lot different come year number 2, and we'll see what we end up doing. So moving on to recruiting, and we have about 500 recruiting hours here in the week 0 phase. And this is, I guess this is more the preseason phase where we get to add prospects to our board. I love this new addition to College Football 26 where you can see the team needs. And as you can see, we have a ton of them. And I mean a ton of needs all across the board. We have a lot of juniors and seniors. But to add to that, we already just talked about the deal breakers. We have the potential to pretty much have that max amount of transfers, which I have set at 20. And we'll see if we end up moving that up a little bit, but I think I'm going to keep it at 20. To add to that, our school grades are absolutely terrible. Our academic prestige is a D, and we can't even change that. Coach stability an F. Maybe that's the one thing that we could improve in the first couple of years, but the rest of the grades, it's going to be hard because we're not going to be a great team early on in this series. So we're definitely going to have to maybe use our proximity to home to get some guys that we can develop and stick around for the long haul. So let's talk about some preliminary recruits we have added to the board. Larry Swain was the top prospect that was actually interested in coming to the school. Right now, we are ranked first, and one thing that I unlocked with him is that he does have pretty good coverage, man covered at 77, 73 zone. He is a 3-star prospect, and like I said, he is the highest ranked prospect to be interested in us. He does have 2 mental abilities with adrenaline and roller coaster. I've never seen roller coaster actually, so his composure gains are going to be a roller coaster, up and down. So we will add 25 points to him, and then we will move on. I do want to talk about one thing with recruiting, and that's Nevada and its history. they have never landed a 4-star prospect ever. So we, in the first year or two, we'll see, we will not go after any 4 stars. I want to keep this realistic. I want to start winning before prospects start being interested, especially the 4 stars. And if it's possible, if it does happen, if we move on to the Pac-12 eventually, I will allow that rule to be nullified. So I will allow myself to go after 4 stars in a Power 5 conference. Nyles Daniel is an interesting player, 86 throw power, and one thing to remember is that even if you have these guys that do need a lot of development, manual progression is going to make recruiting a lot better, because there may be guys that you wouldn't necessarily go after, but you kind of stash and develop if they do fit what your team has. Because Nyles Daniel has a proximity to home and as his deal breaker, and we have a B+ grade for him out of California. So he's a guy that I do like, I do want to develop, and I'm going to move him up my board as really the top quarterback right now. Chuba Purdy is a senior, so the future at quarterback is definitely fuzzy at the current moment. So let's talk about some other guys like Del Waller. He's an interesting player, a cornerback out of California, out of Long Beach, 6 foot 185. He is interesting, and I will keep looking at more cornerbacks because our entire roster is really open at this current moment of this rebuild. Marquise Rahman, I'm not going to always scout 100%. Maybe I want to get a feel for what they are, but we are first on his board, so I'm going to move him up, as we do have Rahman and Waller, both right now interested in Nevada, so they will be high on our board. Martin I don't know how to say the last name. Nestrowitz is how you say it. Maybe Nestrovitz. He is right now we are second on his list, and he has a scholarship offer from 5 different schools at the current moment. One thing I do want to find is a receiver who I really like. I haven't found that just yet, but I do focus in on Chet Harper out of Peoria, Arizona. I start to unlock his ratings here at 6'2", 200. He's got good size, and he ends up being a bust, but look at the ratings here. 90 throw power, 85 short, 86 medium, 82 deep, and he has headstrong and adrenaline. He also is pretty mobile at 77 speed, but 88 acceleration. And like I just highlighted with manual progression and also increasing dev traits, it's not always that he's going to be a bust his entire career. So we are going to really throw the house at him, and he has been the best prospect we've seen so far on this board. And I will, like I said, send the house, move him up to number 1 on the recruiting board, and I will go after him really heavily. The last player I want to highlight here on our board, at least to start out, is DeMarco Aikman. I haven't been able to find a player that's got 90 speed and has been a 3-star. He's the closest right now at 89 speed. That would be tied for the fastest in our receiving core anyway. So that will be our top prospects we start out with here in episode 1. So without further ado, let's get into the opener. And it doesn't get much harder than this, than playing the number 2 team in the country in Penn State. We all know Drew Aller is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. We'll see if he can finally shake off, kind of those yips that he has, and he can maybe capture a national championship here in this series. We'll see as a senior if he can get it done. But this is the best roster we will face all season long. So we are off to a very tough start in this series. And without further ado, let's get down to the field. So here we go. Season 1 of the Nevada Wolfpack Dynasty is officially underway in the rain nonetheless. So now the conditions are going to be bad for a bad football team, and we are on the road. It couldn't get much worse than this. We'll see what the defense can do. They start out on the field here for the Wolfpack, and we'll see if we can stop this high-powered offense. They come out here empty to start out the game. Here's a quick throw across the middle as Drew Aller will find a receiver for the first down. Najee Logan there on the tackle. Here is Nicholas Singleton, who breaks a tackle that time. Trying to bring him down is going to be Najee Logan, who made the stop on the last play, and he will give up the first down run. Already across the 50, back to Singleton, puts another move on Logan and gets to the outside. He's going to be tackled on the play on the outside by Kaysen Kitchen. Another carry back to Singleton, and that is Thomas Witt on the tackle, but that is enough for the first down. At the 35 now on the edge of field goal range, here's a middle screen design this time, and Drew Aller will find his target. And he is perfect so far on this drive. Every play has been positive for the Nittany Lions on this drive. Inside the 20-yard line now, Aller looks like he ran a man in motion this time, and a quick throw across the middle will be a first down catch, and they will move the chains on that throw. So now at about the 6-yard line, here's Aller, 3rd and goal now. He's going to take off and run. This time he gets stopped, but no, they give him the touchdown, and it looked like he was just a yard short. They do go back and look at this, and yes, it does look like his knee is down before, maybe even his forearm, before he crosses the plane. So now it's 4th and goal, and it looks like his ability has been upgraded here on the goal line. Back to Singleton, it's a touchdown. So that was an easy drive for Penn State to open this series. We know how lopsided this game actually is overall-wise. So Penn State opens up the game with a score. Here is Nate Burleson the second, who's going to return kicks at least to open the season. We'll see how he does. And out comes this offense. The focal point is going to be Herschell Turner. Now the lead back here at Nevada, transferred from Utah State. He was really good last year for Utah State. Average about 6 yards per carry as he gets the first carry of the game for a gain of 2. He's going to be a huge focal point of the offense as he runs in motion this time. Here is Purdy getting it over to Turner for the first completion of the game, fighting for yardage. He looks like he's just inches short. 3rd and inches, and a big hole up the middle for Herschell Turner, and he's got the first down. And that will be the story of this first season. We're going to be really giving the ball to Turner as much as possible. Play action fake. That one worked that time. Here is Purdy, who's got excellent mobility, gets out of the pocket, and he slides down for a gain of 10. So a nice couple of plays here for the offense. It looks like Penn State's going to send the pressure off the left edge, and he gets it away. Purdy does to Burleson for his first catch of the season. Burleson running in motion this time. It's a 3rd and 7, and the play action doesn't work. The pressure gets to Purdy, and he goes down. So those couple of plays will be negated by the sack on 3rd down. And here comes the Penn State offense back out onto the field. So here's Drew Aller this time throwing across the middle. He's got Nicholas Singleton, who's going to get taken down on the play by number 44, Austin Hartenow. So here at about the 41-yard line here, Aller 1st and 10. Another short dump-off pass to Singleton again. And he's got a first down running over Stone Combs, number 33 at linebacker. He's our only impact player on the defense, so we'll see if he keeps that throughout the season. Thomas Witt getting pressure on Aller. He misses the sack. Aller loads up and throws deep. He's got a man behind the defense. It's a touchdown. And it looked like Edward Rambo was back there, and he could not make a play on the ball. That's number 4 deep. Thomas Witt tried for the sack, but Aller with an excellent step up in the pocket and a great throw in the rain. And it's 14-0. Penn State in control here early on. Here's a throw to the right side, and that one's caught by the tight end, Jace Henry, on the sideline. That's an excellent throw by Purdy. Now facing a 2nd and 9 this time. Throw across the middle, and that's another nice throw this time. And that time it's going to be Jace Henry again for a nice catch. Looks like Herschell Turner running in motion this time. Another short throw, this time out to the sophomore Marshawn Brown. But Chuba Purdy is down on the play. If we take another look, it looks like he got hit from behind and then kind of got sandwiched between two defenders. So he will have to come out of the game. So in comes the backup quarterback, A.J. Bianco, who will come in for his first action of the year. He has experience playing a little bit, and he gets hit on that throw. Chuba Purdy with hip bursitis. So it looks like he will return soon, but we will keep him on the sideline until he's ready. Bianco back to the run game. Here is Turner with a nice hole. Turner with a couple of nice runs here in the first half. And that's a gain of about 10 yards for the first down. More pressure off the edge from Bianco, and he throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted. Oh my goodness, a great drive squandered by an interception. Our tackles could not hold up against those edge rushers of the Nittany Lions, and they get to Bianco, and it results in a pick. It looks like, Aller's in the zone here. He dumps it off short to Singleton, who gets around the defender and picks up the first down already across the 50. And now we're in a compromising position here. 3 minutes to go here in the first half, and we cannot stop the offense. We send pressure, but it doesn't matter anyway. Aller will find the open man inside the red zone now. He finds Khalil Dinkins, who has been killing us at the tight end position so far. As here's Aller again, back to Dinkins, and he holds on after a big hit. His 4th catch of the first half, and now they're inside the 10. Aller back to the run game this time. Singleton stopped in the backfield. There is Stone Combs, the guy we're going to need to make plays for us. He is a junior. He's got that deal breaker for pro potential, though, so we'll see how he sticks around. Here is Aller, though, on a 3rd and goal, getting sacked, and look who it is. It's a walk-on. Remember, put your player submissions in my community tab, and you have a chance to be a walk-on. I love that player made a sack, because it just shows that even being a walk-on, you can make a difference on this team here in year 1 and possibly in the future. 17-0 now as we try to get some points on the board with 30 seconds to go. There's a dangerous throw by Bianco. And Chuba Purdy is still on the sideline. Back to the run game. Here is Herschell Turner with a nice cut. He makes it up the middle, and a clean run up the middle by Herschell Turner. That's a gain of 15 yards. He's had 2 15-yard rushes today. Here is Bianco now looking to throw this one deep, and this time he gets hit on the throw. Incomplete. We decide to play it safe here at the end of the half, though. Run it out, and we go down into the locker room 17-0 at halftime. Drew Aller has been great. The Penn State defense has been great. We'll see if the second half is better for the Wolfpack, and my goal is really just to get some points on the board. Purdy hurt in the first half. That really did hurt us. We'll see if we can bounce back. So here is A.J. Bianco, who comes out at quarterback here to start the second half. Did not expect that one. His first pass is going to be intercepted by Penn State. Going the other way. Tackled by Herschell Turner at the 1. If we take a look back at this route by Nate Burleson, the second, it was very poor. He kind of like jump stopped there in the middle, and that definitely threw off the timing, because I did not expect him to just stop like that. I thought he was going to have, first off, I thought that was more of like an 8-yard in-breaking route. Instead, he runs to about the 12-yard line, and that resulted in an interception. Bad timing by the offense, and Nicholas Singleton will score the easiest touchdown he will probably get all season long. So 24-0 here, as I want to look to protect AJ Turner, Herschell Turner here at running back. So we do decide to use the dynamic substitutions, and we do get sacked on that first play. It's a big sack by Evan White, and we're back at the 35-yard line just about for a 3rd and very long. Play action fake by Bianco, and he goes down again. You know, I think this pass rush is just way too much for this offensive line who, like I said, our tackles are probably the worst players on this offensive line as far as guards, centers, tackles, probably the lowest rated. So here's a deep shot by Aller, getting behind the defense. And this Penn State offense just will not stop here. That's an excellent throw by Aller, setting up Singleton with the carry. He breaks the tackle by Big Thomas Witt, the senior. And that's 300 pounds he just threw off of him. And he walks in like it's nothing. It's 31-0 here to open this dynasty. We go to our 3rd stringer here in Anthony Walter. I don't think it's smart to even bring in Chuba Purdy in these conditions. I mean, this is going to be a long season, so we need to preserve Purdy a little bit. He didn't come in to start the second half, and we had him slated to come in, but we bring in Walters instead just to give us a different look. And here is a couple of nice carries that time. The first by Kai Woods and the second by Caleb Ramseur for a gain of 5. There's a short throw this time, and that is number 9. The sophomore Marshawn Brown. Marshawn Brown is a sophomore along with Nate Burleson the second. They are the youngest receivers in this room. So we will definitely look to develop them. Back to Herschell Turner, who's got a gain of 8. He's at 68 yards rushing. I think that's a win in of itself. He is running the football well versus this tough D-line. 3rd and 2, we're stuffed. And now it's 4th and inches. On the edge of field goal range. Our kicker can't make it from here. So we will go for it, handing it off to Herschell Turner. He's stopped at the line of scrimmage. He cannot pick up a yard on the play. And Penn State will take back over at their own 40. Little RPO action, and it's once again the tight end who breaks free. All the way to the 28-yard line. Khalil Dinkins is absolutely killing us today. Aller has been super efficient. Another quick throw across the middle. And we're trying to throw everything. Zone, man, blitz, zone, man, blitz, bringing the safeties up in the box. Nothing is helping. Here's a throw to the end zone, and Penn State will score again. You got to think that's going to be the end of Drew Aller's day here, up 38-0 as we enter the 4th quarter. And Nevada has not been able to do anything. Walter still in the game here for Nevada. He does have good speed, but look at this defensive end getting after him and sacking him on the play. There was nothing but green grass in front of him, but Walter just cannot get around the edge. More pressure on Walter. Here's a deep shot, this time for Marshawn Brown, the sophomore. He is also the tallest receiver in this receiving room at 6'3". That's an ability that he has. He only has 82 speed, but he does have that 50-50 mentality. More pressure on Walters, though, and he will go down. So that nice big play is short-lived for excitement. And now it's 3rd and 11 here. Here is Walter under pressure, and it's 4th and 11. The quick game really has to be the calling card versus these really good defensive lines because they are absolutely tearing us up. Here's a throw into double coverage. It's knocked down. And that has been the story today. Penn State has just been smothering our entire offense. As now here we go. Back on defense. Here is pressure on the backup quarterback, and he will go down. It is, I'm going to learn how to say his name, but I'm just going to say LaBera Berra. It's LaBera Berra. LeBar Berra. I will learn how to say that name. He is a junior and should be a guy that should stick around for the next 2 years if we keep him happy. And now a 3rd and 22. What do you know? A conversion. That was a cover 4, by the way, and they still convert that play. That just speaks to the game that they are having. As here is a handoff this time and another touchdown for the Nittany Lions. And they are just pouring it on here late as the rain does still pour down in this game. And Nevada has still been blanked, 45-0. We just decide to keep Walter in the game here at quarterback. Here's a screen pass out to Kai Woods, the backup tailback. and he picks up the first down here on the screen. We'll see if we can get a garbage time touchdown here late. Here's Walter. He is a redshirt freshman, remember, as he does give it to Marcus Bellin, who is the highest rated receiver in this receiving room. He finally gets going in this one. Here is Walter now throwing deep to Marshawn Brown again. I was hoping for a little more air under that one. It's knocked down. As now Walter gets it to a 2nd and 10. Pressure up the middle. Throwing into coverage. It's intercepted. He was looking for number 2, Jordan Brown, the transfer from Texas Tech. And Penn State returns it all the way. And that is the story of this one. 4 interceptions for this Penn State defense. And ever since Chuba Purdy left the game, they have been in complete control. And they go on to win this game 52-0. There was really nothing we could do in this game. I mean, you're on the road. We're one of the worst teams in the game, playing one of the best teams in the game on Heisman difficulty. It was very, very tough in this one. But this is the rebuild. This is what we have to start from. We remember this game as where we started in this series, and we will see where we end up. But it's going to be a long road for sure. I do have a couple of good takeaways from this game. 3rd down, we were 5 of 10, which is actually not too bad. We turned the football over, though. 4 turnovers. I think we had a couple in the red zone. And looking at what our defense did well, not a whole lot. I don't really have a single player who really played well on the defensive side. We did get after Drew Allard 2 times, so we did get 2 sacks on him. But our defense has a lot of work to do. With Chuba Hubbard, we were playing actually pretty well. We were moving the ball, but then he went out, and that definitely derailed the offense. I felt like Walter couldn't really make any throws. A.J. Bianco couldn't make any throws beyond 10 yards. It was just one of those things, so I decided to roll with Walter late in that game and not even try to bring back Chuba Hubbard. It just didn't make sense. But I do have a couple of takeaways on offense. Herschell Turner was amazing running the football. 5.2 yards per carry. If we were closer in that game, he definitely would have eclipsed like 20 to 25 carries in that one. But you got to make sure to protect your guys because wear and tear is real. I don't want a long-term injury to Herschell Turner, especially in the rain. So that is important. And then Marshawn Brown, who made a really good 50-50 catch in traffic. That was a pretty good takeaway from this one also. But you can see we have a long way to go in this rebuild. So we'll see what happens going forward. After that loss, our championship contender does go down to an F. So more players are more likely to transfer going into this season. But we'll see what the series holds, and we'll see what we can do in this rebuild. This is the bottom. Just remember that. It'll only go up from here. But our contract goals only say that we have to win 4 games. So that is the goal here in season 1. And I hope you guys enjoyed this opening episode and stay tuned for the rest of the series. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.